Hello, hello. I wanted to get on today and talk about goals and systems. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle. I am 48. I am a part-time teacher who used to be a full-time teacher who is laser focused on making more money so I can supplement my income so that I continue to teach part-time. And it's so funny because I realized that now that I've changed my background because, I'm in the closet again. If you watch my last video, you see I was also in the closet. It's a closet that I turned into in a little office. I realized that based on like my background, I really don't look like I'm necessarily a minimalist, but it probably just takes on whatever you think a minimalist is. But honestly, I really am. Like I wear the same stuff every day and I really do have very few items. But anyway, since we're at the start of a new year, I wanted to talk about systems and goals. I feel like, this is a time of year where we all set resolutions and we all have these grand ideas on who we want to be by the end of the year. And I think one of the things that messes us up is that we put a time limit on it or like a time frame. So my first suggestion would be take the timestamps off, take the timeline off, pick a goal, and then just work towards the goal. That way you don't get discouraged and then you're not like, oh, well, forget it. I'm not going to reach my goal because you set this timeline for your goal. So what I mean by that is if you say, hey, you know what, I really want to lose 15 pounds. Sorry, you can hear the doggy in the background. He must see another dog outside. But let's just say you want to lose 15 pounds. Well, what you can do is you can say, I want to lose 15 pounds. Don't put it by a certain date. Just work towards losing 15 pounds, which my second thing comes in, which is systems. So as soon as you set a goal, think about what systems do I have to create in my life that are going to help me move closer to my goal. So I'll give you two examples. One is my minimalism journey. So I've probably been a minimalist, probably about 7 years. Now I've always been organized. So that's nothing new. I've always been very organized, but I've not always been very cognizant of like how much stuff I have. But I taught overseas for a little bit and I had to kind of pare down my stuff. And then when I came back, I was like full-fledged into the world of minimalism. And some of the systems I created to help me maintain or, reach my goal of being a minimalist. One, I didn't have a timeline. I wasn't like, oh, I need to be a minimalist by this day because I didn't. The second thing I did was I don't window shop anyway, but I made sure that the only time I'm in a store or on a website is when I actually need something. And then when I do go into the store or on a website, I literally just get what I need. I'm not clicking around, seeing what else is on sale. I'm not in the store walking around, seeing nope. I just get what I came to get and I tend to have a list. The second, or I guess that'd be the third thing. The third thing would be one of the organizational strategies I use that really help me stay in this minimalist world is I organize by space. So to give you a concrete example, if you look behind me, you see I have a bookcase. I used to have 3 of those. Now I literally have 1. And if it does not fit on that bookcase, then I do not have it. So what that means is if I am thinking I'm going to buy something, I do the same things with my shoes. I have a shoe rack. It holds 9 pairs of shoes. That means I can only have 9 pairs. If I decide to buy more shoes, then I'll have to figure out which ones am I getting rid of. So if you organize by space, it really helps you kind of get a handle of how much stuff you have. So even like with my nail polishes, I have them like in this little Dollar Tree basket thing. That's it. I'm not getting another one to hold more nail polish. It's just that one. So that's been super duper helpful in creating like just that system of I don't window shop. 2, I just organize by space. Okay. And then 3, which I think is super duper important when it comes to minimalism or money, is decide you're enough. Because sometimes, when we set goals, like we reach it and now we're like trying to do a new goal. No, why can't we just be content with the goal and just maintain that goal. So for instance, the fact that I'm a minimalist now, I just try to keep my house, neat, and I'm intentional about the stuff I buy, but I'm not trying to reach a new level of minimalism. Like I'm not trying to get down to X number of items, or I've reached a goal. I'm happy. So when it comes to money, it's the same principle. Like if you set a money goal, then think, okay, what systems do I have to put in place to help me reach this money goal? So for me, it's not exactly a money goal, but it's connected to money, which is me working part-time. That is my goal. I have 10 years before I can retire. I would like to spend those next 10 years working part-time. But because I have a bunch of credit card debt, that is standing in my way. So right now I have between $1,500 to $2,000 worth of minimum payments, which is insane. So I, had to think, okay, my goal is to work part-time. What systems can I put into place to help me pay down this debt, but also not create any new debt, which is really the bigger issue, because we know we've all seen people who can pay it down and 2 years later, 6 months later, they're back in debt. So I'm really trying to avoid that. So what I have done, which it's revolutionary for me, for some of you, it'll be like, that's how I always live my life. I have now taken up this motto of I only spend money I have. Now, I know for people who don't have debt, that's what you've always done. That's why you don't have debt. But for those people who are like me, who kind of just decided, oh, I'll always have payments in life, you don't necessarily spend based on what you currently have available. And this is, oh my goodness, this is like a struggle. Like this is a real mindset shift. So like over the weekend, I was super stressed. I'm having some issues with I have a rental property, and my tenant's child is eating lead off the walls. Now I have to pay thousands of dollars to get this fixed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. And so I was like, I really want to go to Papados. I don't know if you have Papados where you live, but it's like this seafood restaurant. It's not cheap, but I love it. So for like a little after COVID, for like literally 2 years, I literally ate the same thing every night for dinner from Papados, which was shrimp etouffee. It comes in like this big container. It's like $60, including the tip. It'll last me like 5 days. So I really wanted some. I mean, really wanted some on Saturday. I was like, I just want some. It made me feel so much better. But I was like, I don't have $60. Like I physically do not have $60. And for a couple hours, I thought about it, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm already in all this debt. Was $60 more. But then I thought about my goal, and I thought my goal is to continue to work part-time and to pay down my credit card debt and not incur new debt. And so I have to change my mindset. So I was like, you know what? I cannot spend $60 that I do not have. I cannot put that on a credit card. So I decided what else would make me feel good. And I decided Butterfingers, the candy. Love me some Butterfingers, and they're a whole lot cheaper than $60. And so I had enough money to buy a couple of things of Butterfingers. I've been nibbling on those. I feel much better. So I feel like we can all reach our goals if we are cognizant of the systems that we can put in place to reach those goals. And also, as I get older, I tend to set more like lifetime goals, if that makes sense. So I really, for the most part, I don't really have goals that I'm trying to accomplish within like a certain amount of time. It's really just major lifestyle changes. So whether it's money or minimalism or weight loss or exercise, anything like that, I'm just more so focused on what are some systems that I can incorporate into my life. And so like, for instance, another system that I'm trying to work with right now is like I won't necessarily call it cash envelopes, because I cannot have like all those little envelopes. It's so cute, but I can't do it. It's too cumbersome. But I do want to create some systems that allow me to live my life in cash. So I realize that might be, creating some sinking funds to save up for, things that I know I'll spend money on. Right now, though, I'm literally just trying to pay my minimum payments each month. So I've been trying out different ways to make money. So I've done like babysitting, I do tutoring, I do SAT, ACT testing. And the one that's really starting to pay off for me is I have a TPT store. So for teachers, you all know what that is. If you're not a teacher, it's a marketplace where teachers can sell digital products. and it's really picking up. Like I'm really starting to see kind of the fruits of my labor. My goal is to make between 500 and 1,000 a month. I'm not quite there yet, but I actually might hit 500 this month, and we're only on day 3, and it looks like I'm kind of on track to reach that goal. So that would be amazing. But hopefully some of these tips have helped, but more than anything, just decide on your enough, because I think that we could be so much more content if we just decide on enough. And it's hard. And I mean, I'm preaching to the choir right now, because as I'm doing my TPT story, my goal is between 500 and $1,000. But it's so tempting. Like when you see other people making, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, to kind of up it and be like, well, no, maybe my goal should be like 2,000 or 3,000. No, my goal is 500 to 1,000. Some months I may exceed that goal, and that's fine, but it's still, my goal is not changing. That is the goal. So again, I hope that this was helpful. Quick recap. 1, take the timelines off the goals. So do not say I want to lose weight by this date, or I want to pay off my credit cards by this date, or I want to have a new job by this date. Nope. Just work towards whatever the goal is. The second thing is to create a system or systems that will help you move closer to that goal. That way, you're doing like daily, weekly, monthly things that are moving you closer to your goal, that are probably also almost lifestyle changes. And then lastly, decide on your enough. Like decide, like when you reach your goal, that's fine. You'll just maintain the goal, that you don't have to set a new goal. We don't always have to be working on something. We really can just be content and just be in maintenance mode, So I hope this was helpful. Happy New Year. Until later, be grateful. Bye-bye.